saw her. She is real. Please meet Princess Amunet.
She will claim what she has been denied.
Well, Wonder Woman may have some competition in theaters this week from a female movie monster. You saw right there, Tom Cruise's latest is The Mummy, and the film marks the start of a new classic horror reboot from Universal Pictures. So will The Mummy bury the box office, or is it simply cursed? Let's bring in Eli Glasner with his thoughts. Tom Cruise, a big budget movie.
Sure, yeah.
How could it possibly be cursed?
Oh, how could it? Well, let me tell you about this abomination of a film. A scareless horror film, an action-adventure lacking charisma, doomed to haunt the multiplex, looking for victims. Don't be fooled by The Mummy. Yes, some of the biggest stars of the world employed, and for what? This turgid, muddled, smirking movie monster wannabe that would make Boris Karloff cry. But oh, I've forgotten to tell you about the plot, so let's start with that. Tom Cruise is basically Tom Cruise, a charming cad, this time playing a guy named Nick, an army ranger who likes to steal antiquities. On what such salvaging mission, he uncovers a sarcophagus, a coffin with an evil mummy inside that really should have stayed buried, which is why things happen like planes crashing. Here is Annabelle Wallis as the resident Egyptian expert with the warning. Take it away.
This isn't a tomb. It's a prison. Nick! The hieroglyph said she was named Amunet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. But her thirst for power led her down a darker path, one that had to be stopped.
Yep, nothing says ancient Egypt like a little bit of Rolling Stones. So The Mummy, played by Sophia Boutella there, brought to England, tries to get inside the head of Tom Cruise's character so she can begin her plan of world domination. This is a movie filled with people yelling things like, what do we do now? Who's in charge here? The kind of things I think Tom Cruise's agent will be saying next week.
But, you know, it does bring about the question, because here we are, big megastars, big Hollywood budget, over $100 million, to my understanding. So how does that go wrong, considering how successful that formula would imply a movie would be?
This is an answer to a non-existent problem. That's why the movie, I think, is so flawed. Somewhere in a Universal Pictures boardroom were a group of executives drooling over the Marvel movies, the endless Star Wars spin-offs, and thinking, why can't we have our own shared cinematic universe? Now, IP, intellectual property, is expensive, but then some Universal executive had a brainwave. Wait, we own the rights to those classic movie monsters. You remember the black and white films. There you go, the classic, of course, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, and more. What if we brought back these monsters in a new interconnected series of movies with reoccurring characters and crossovers, and we'll call it something really edgy, like, wait for it, ooh, the Dark Universe. And after they finished downing their bottles of Mountain Dew and high-fiving each other, they decided to start with The Mummy. And yes, this is really happening. Let me show you a cast photo. This is, they have a new series of movies coming out. This is just the beginning. Johnny Depp, there you see him there, is attached to The Invisible Man. Javier Bardem has a Frankenstein film in the works. And there's even talk of bringing in Angelina Jolie for The Bride of Frankenstein.
Wow. Okay, so that's the bigger picture, but we have to talk about The Mummy. Going into a weekend, going into a weekend, is it best to leave The Mummy buried?
Oh, yeah. No, just step away. Step away from the multiplex. I mean, it's obvious at the beginning, no one had any idea of what kind of movie they wanted to make. A comedy, an Indiana Jones-style adventure, a disturbing horror film. So instead, they made all three films simultaneously and badly. First, you have Cruise playing Nick, the charming thief. Now, he's supposed to be untrustworthy and slippery, but when's the last time you saw him do anything and not save the world? So instead, he goes back to doing what he does best, which is running. Look at Tom. He is just fantastic at run, Tom, run. So there you go. Now, since they're trying to make this kind of monster hunting super team, he's amazing. Look at that. Good speed there, Tom. But since they're trying to make this super team, you need some kind of leader for this twisted, dark Justice League. Enter, wait for it, Russell Crowe as Dr. Henry Jekyll. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Prodigium, Mr. Morton. From the Latin, Monstrum vel prodigium. A warning of monsters. It's not an exact science, this business.
And the business being?
Evil.
I've seen the face of evil, and it's a $125 million budget in search of an idea. To call it a shambles is an insult to shambles everywhere. It is a comedy where the punchline never comes. It's a movie that is 2 hours long but feels like 7, and the worst thing about The Mummy is that when it's finally finished, she's only just begun. 2 stars out of 5.
It sounds like 2's generous there, Eli.
Yes.
Thank you very much.